everyone, welcome back to the channel. How are you doing? Today we are going to be doing a bit of an interesting video, one that you guys probably didn't see coming. I'm going to be comparing the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller versus the regular Nintendo Gamecube Controller. No doubt that these are the two greatest controllers Nintendo has ever created. I'm pretty sure any person would say that, but which one of them is better per se? Today I will be comparing these two based on the certain features of each one and just giving my opinion on what I think is the better one. Now you heard that right. This is my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. I am just going off what I feel on the controllers, as well as my experience with them, and overall, basically how they feel, how each buttons feel, how good they are controlling, excuse me. And yeah, let's go. First off, we will start with the four main buttons, those being A, B, X, and Y. First, we will start off with the Pro Controller, and this looks exactly like any controller from nowadays, would be from the Xbox or PlayStation. The buttons all laid out in a good shape. They are all also pretty big too for face buttons. Excuse me, I'm trying to grip this with one hand. Yeah, they feel really good, really big, which is like I said, a lot bigger than most controllers. So yeah, overall, they feel really good, and they definitely get points for that, so really good. Now the GameCube controller, on the other hand, yeah, these definitely do not look normal. However, they are still really good as well. The A button, nice and big. This is to show that this would be the most important item. Feels really nice to press as well. B button, a little small, we'll give it that. Y button and X, they surround the A button, and even though they are a weird shape, they do feel really good as well. So overall, both are really good. This is a really tough one. This is one of the ones that, along with maybe a few other things, are going to be really tough to decide. However, I'm going to give it to the GameCube controller. I think they do feel slightly better. They are a little bigger, excluding the B button. And they're unique. What can I say? So the GameCube controller wins the face buttons, gets 1 point. Next up, we will be looking at the analog sticks. The Switch Pro Controller one, really good. 360 directional movement. Sorry, it's hard to record with one hand. Moves really well around. Yeah, what can I say? You can also, a good feature of this, you can also click down on this one. I don't know if you can hear that. Unfortunately, the rest of that clip got cut out. So basically what I was just saying is that the other analog stick was basically the exact same. Nothing too crazy. Alright, now onto the GameCube controller. And now for the GameCube controller, this is, this analog stick on here on the left has really good movement, very solid analog stick right here. However, it doesn't click, which makes it just a little worse, adds a lesser feature, and also the other one, I mean, that is one small analog stick. Really tough to move as well, since it is that small. So I will be giving this to the Switch Pro Controller. So that means it is now 1-1. Next up, we will be looking at the D-pad. Starting with the Pro Controller, as usual. The D-pad on here is pretty solid. The D-pad is not really used as much as it was back in the day. But the D-pad on here, really good. Really good feel throughout it. You can also click in the middle of it, which those are good on Nintendo controllers as well. You can click right in the middle. Not really any purpose, but it just feels pretty nice. This is a pretty big D-pad. Yeah, feels really good. Maybe not as pressy as I would like it to. I know that sounds kind of weird, but the Wii controller has really pressy D-pads, so that's why I like it. But the Switch one, overall, besides it being not really pressy, feels really good. Really good D-pad. Now for the GameCube controller. Yeah, that is a one small D-pad, and that really pushes it out of the way already. Really small. I have a big thumb right here, and big hands in general. Hi. So the D-pad is basically whenever I try to press down on one of the directions, I push down on the whole thing, which can make it go pretty much any direction. You can press in the middle of this. I find it to be maybe slightly more pressy than the Switch Pro Controller. However, because it is such a small D-pad and the Switch Pro Controller one is much bigger, that automatically makes the Switch Pro Controller better. So it is now 2-1. The Switch Pro Controller takes the lead. Now I'll be looking at side buttons. These are these two right here. And the Switch Pro Controller has really good side buttons. As you can see, they are pretty big. as well, and they are very pressy. That really is all there has to say about the side buttons. So yeah, Switch Pro Controller, pretty good. Sorry if that was a little brief, but that's really all I have to say. Now for the Gamecube Controller. Wait, where's the other one? Yeah, the Gamecube Controller only has one side button. A little weird, but anyway, this yeah, this is not really a pressy one in my opinion. Again, in my opinion. Sorry, get up here. This is not really pressy. I would not want to press this all day. And yeah, there is no other one as well. Don't really know what was going on there. But yeah. Automatically, Switch Pro Controller wins this one. They're leading 3-1. Now moving on to the shoulder buttons. The Switch Pro Controllers, I will give it. It's really pressy. I love pressing this thing whenever I'm playing Smash or Mario Kart 8, or any game basically. I love pressing this thing, really pressy, but it is not analog triggers. Okay, so you don't know what that means. It basically means if you press this down a certain amount, either the thing that is triggering it will either trigger a little bit or all of it. This, if you press it down, it'll trigger all of it. You can't press it down a little, which really, really hurts it in competing with the GameCube controller. Hint, hint. But yeah, this is still a really good button. It's mainly because it is really pressy. So yeah, that's the Switch Pro Controller's shoulder buttons. And the GameCube controller, you guessed it, has analog shoulder buttons. So basically, I am pressing this down a little bit, but not all of it, because this is all of it. This makes it a lot better than Switch Pro Controller and analog buttons. That, triggers, sorry. And that was actually one of the main complaints of the Switch Pro Controller, that it did not have analog shoulder buttons. The other one is basically the exact same as this. So the GameCube controller takes a point back, 3-2. The final category in terms of buttons on here is the buttons in the center. These are basically just buttons that you can use to get back to the home screen or pause the game or stuff like that. And the Switch Pro Controller, as you can see, has 4 buttons. There's a plus button, a minus button, a home button, and this is also a capture button, meaning you can actually take pictures. This is very advanced in technology. That's a pretty cool feature. So I don't really have anything to say about this. I guess I'm gonna go off coolness, how much there is. So yeah, Switch Pro Controllers, smaller buttons, pretty good. And now for the GameCube controller, yes, only one button for start and pause. Now I'm gonna give it credit. This came out in 2001. This came out in 2017. There's a 16-year difference between these, so obviously technology improved a lot. So for that, I'm still going to give it to the Switch Pro Controller, obviously, because more is better. But the GameCube controller, I'm really not going to give it any blame here. This kind of had an unfair advantage against it. And for the final category, feel. This is, without a doubt, the toughest one. I literally sat here, before recording this, I sat here for 5 minutes, feeling out each of the controllers and which one felt better. This is a very, very tough decision. But I'm going to give it to the Switch Pro Controller, and that is just for one reason. My hands, like I said, are big. When I grab it like this, my fingers right here have more support than on the GameCube controller. I'll show you this. I know they look the same, but you can't really tell unless you're me, and once you feel it, if you have big hands. So it's, once again, very, very close call. Could easily go either way. I'm sure if you had smaller hands, then maybe the GameCube controller would be better. I don't know. Just for me, in my sake, the Switch Pro Controller feels better. So the final score was 5-2. The Switch Pro Controller, in my opinion, is better than the GameCube controller. Once again, even though I made it seem like the Switch Pro Controller is extremely better, most of these were very, very close calls. Easily could have gone either way. A few things stood out more on the different controllers, but it was mainly even. If the number of flaws the Switch Pro Controller had, the GameCube controller would easily be there to clean them up, and vice versa. So again, the Switch Pro Controller won for me 5-2 in terms of the 7 categories I put here. Easily could go either way though, so if you guys have an opinion on this, let me know in the comments. I'd be very interested to hear what you guys think. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.